You are watching a brand new Sports Fusion episode here on YouTube. My name is Alex Feuz. We got a big show for you tonight. We got a New York Yankees beat writer for ESPN.com on tonight's show. What does he have to say about this upcoming season for the New York Yankees? On tonight's show, he is a ESPN beat reporter for the New York Yankees, Wallace Matthews. So, Mr. Matthews, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Alex?
Good. So, Mr. Matthews, have you heard anything about Greg Bird? Is he staying up in the majors, or does he stay in the minors waiting for a Mark Teixeira injury?
Well, the last thing that I heard was, right after the end of the season, where Cashman said he's likely to start the season in AAA because they want to get him at bats, and at this point, you really don't have a place to put him in the lineup. You've got a full-time DH in A-Rod. You have a part-time DH, I would think, in Beltran, who's not going to be able to play the outfield every day. You are assuming, and you're probably assuming wrong, but you're assuming to start the season that Teixeira is going to give you 130 to 140 games at first base. So at that point, it really doesn't do Greg Bird any good to have him sitting on the bench in the major leagues and play once a week. So I think what the Yankees plan to do is send him down to Scranton and have him play every single day, and then obviously if they need it, they'll be back.
So how many starts do you think CC Sabathia is going to make this year following the end of last year?
All right, if I can answer questions like this, I would spend my living either at the racetrack, the casino, or just playing lottery tickets. I can't predict the future. I don't know. I mean, obviously, the party line out of the Yankees is that it's going to be a new CC this year, even though, it's funny. They like to have it both ways. They will tell you that his alcohol problem did not affect him at all on the mound, and yet he's going to be different this year because he's kicked his alcohol problem. I don't know whether that's true or not. We do know that he pitched better in the final month of last season. At the time we were told it was because he has a new knee brace and that was helping him quite a bit on the mound. And that he's going to be even better this year because he's used to the knee brace. We also know this. He's going to be 36 years old. He's got a ton of innings on that arm. He's lost velocity just about every season over the past 3 or 4 years. You've seen him go down a tick or two on his fastball just about every season. I would be surprised if he's a better pitcher this year than he has been. But as for how many starts, he's always been pretty durable. I'll say, if we're going to set an over-under, I'll say 20 is the over-under, and I'll take the over.
Okay. So, is there any news about a possible starting pitcher being acquired by the Yankees if, let's say, injuries to the starting pitching, which we have seen in the past? So, do you think any possible news on a starting pitcher?
Well, I think it's real possible. I couldn't tell you a name because I know the Yankees are not going to pay for a top-shelf pitcher. I mean, they feel like they've been burnt on long-term deals with pitchers, and, obviously we can start with CC Sabathia, but, there are quite a few others. Kagawa, of course. A.J. Burnett probably didn't work out the way they wanted them to, although they probably don't win the 2009 World Series without him.
Right.
They don't like giving long-term deals to pitchers. I mean, we see that Tanaka right now is working toward being a disaster as well. If he gets injured, they're going to be on the hook for a lot of money and very little production. So I don't think you're going to see them go for a high-ticket guy. I mean, what they might do, what I think Cashman will do, because he's good at it, he'll just watch he'll scour the wires. He will watch what's going on in other camps. He'll look for guys who get cut by teams during spring training, bring them in. We've seen him do this in the past. With a whole bunch of guys, including Kevin Millwood, if you remember a couple of years ago. Derek Lowe. They might just try for a guy like that and see if they can fit him into the rotation. I think the one thing that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit is that the Yankees no longer have Adam Warren as their go-to guy for when they lose a pitcher, when a pitcher isn't pitching well, when a guy's hurt. Well, okay, we'll put Adam back in the rotation, and when the guy comes back, we'll take Adam out of the rotation instead of the bullpen. They've lost that flexibility somewhat, and I'm not sure who is going to be the guy that inherits that role.
So, any news about Tanaka? Because there was news after the wild card game that he wasn't 100%, or what's going on with him?
Well, he had surgery. He had an elbow cleanout, probably in October, if I remember correctly. He had it here in the United States, and he went back to Japan. The last time I spoke with Joe Girardi and Brian Cashman, They said that as far as they know, his recovery was proceeding normally, and they expect him to be ready when spring training begins. Pitchers and catchers report February 18th. They expect him to be there with that reporting crew. They expect him to be ready to take part in all his regular workouts. They think it's not going to be an issue whatsoever, and they claim that the surgery is not related to what we know to be a partially torn UCL in that pitching elbow. So they think that he's going to be okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question which I'm sure that a lot of people asked you last season. What is the news about Rob Refsnyder? Because now with a new acquiring trade of Starlin Castro, there's news about him starting at second base. So where does Refsnyder fit into the whole rotation or roster picture right now?
That's a great question because, they were reluctant to put Refsnyder into Major League games because of his fielding. I mean, that's not a secret. They've been open about that. He's, pretty much learning to play second base. They tried to get him to learn to play some outfield as well. He's not a great defensive player at either position. He is a very good hitter. I think he surprised them somewhat with his bat in September.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that they were willing to give him another look, but Castro kind of changes the equation there. Do you still need Refsnyder on your bench? Probably not. I think you find that he's in a similar situation as Greg Bird. I think you find that probably starts the season in Scranton for the same reason. Keep playing, get better at both your positions. We'll find a place for you because your bat, we like to have your bat in the lineup. But I think that Starlin Castro has changed the equation for Refsnyder somewhat. Maybe he becomes trade bait. I'm sure that there are other organizations out there that would like to have a guy like that because he can't hit. But I think that, by acquiring Castro, the Yankees are telling you something about their confidence in Refsnyder to be an everyday second baseman.
Okay, before we wrap up this interview, what is your prediction of the New York Yankees this coming season with a new closer pitcher, Chapman? So what do you think the Yankees can accomplish this season?
I'm going to give you the same answer I give my editors every year when they say to me, make a prediction on the season. I say, okay, you're asking me not only to look into the future and predict whether the Yankees are going to remain healthy, whether guys are going to perform up to their expectations, whether the guys that show up in spring training are the guys that are going to be on the team, let's say, by the All-Star break. You're asking me to predict what other teams in the division will do, whether they're going to get injured, whether their personnel will change. I really can't do that, but I will tell you this. I think the bullpen, the back end of the bullpen, assuming that Chapman is not suspended for a long period of time, I think 7, 8, and 9 are going to be lockdown innings with Betances, Miller, and Chapman. I assume they're going to pitch in that order. But Girardi has said Chapman will be the closer. I think that the Yankees, when they get a lead after 6, will be in very good shape to win games. Now, the question is, how many of those games, how many of 162 games will they go into the top of the 7th inning lead? We don't know. We don't know if Alex Rodriguez is going to hit the way he hit last year. We don't know if Mark Teixeira is going to hit the way he hit last year. We don't know if he's going to stay healthy. We don't know if Carlos Beltran is going to stay healthy. We don't know who the 5 starters are going to be. I can give you 5 names, but I don't know if they're coming out of spring training healthy. And if one of them goes down, I don't know who the number 6 is going to be. The only thing I do know with some pretty good certainty is that the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings are going to be very good for the Yankees when they have one. That having been said, what did they win, 87 games?
Yeah, something
games?
like that, yeah.
Let's say they're going to be about the same team this year. I don't see them having gotten significantly better offensively. If anything, they have gotten a year older. I do think they have gotten slightly better in the bullpen, although now middle relief is in question because you no longer have Adam Warren. Jason Shreve was a problem at the end of the year. Justin Wilson gone. A whole new cast of characters like we saw last year. New guys come in. Some of them work out. Some of them don't. Remember David Carpenter was a Yankee for about 12 minutes?
Yeah.
All right? He didn't work out. You don't know what's going to happen there. It's extremely hard to predict what's going to happen in a baseball season because, as I said, there's a lot of variables. A lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can go right. I think the Yankees are pretty much going to be the same team they were last year. I think a lot of the rest of the division has gotten better, notably the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough road for the Yankees in 2016, but you never know. I think they could be a wild card team again. The thing is, will they get past that one-game playoff?
Okay, Mr. Wallace Matthews, thank you for coming on this Sports Fusion episode.
My pleasure. You take care.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking with me on this new Sports Fusion episode, new start to the season. Go back and watch yesterday's show. It was a big show there too. Join me tomorrow night here at the same time once again. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, comment below, follow me on Twitter at sports_fusion, and I will see you tomorrow.